Welcome back to 10 Cents Podcast. I'm your host, Robbie Grout, and across from me is my co-host, Dusty Nixon. And we are on episode 360. We're back. As you can see, things have changed in the... you can call it a studio. It's not a studio. It's just a desk. But I've changed my layout in the basement because I didn't have enough room, obviously.
You don't look like you've been pinned up against a wall this time. So
it was that wall. I basically moved this forward and then moved my simulator stuff over here in the corner out of the way. Because that, like, basically where I'm sitting now is where the simulator was, and then this was up against the wall over there. And then since I bought a bunch of stuff for my simulator and then moved it.
Let's be real. You just wanted everyone in podcast land to know that you have a sim with triples on it and better than them.
That's true. I have an Amazon seat because I broke that 240SX seat I had because I braked too hard and then just destroyed it. And then I finally got an Amazon frame and then an Amazon like triple monitor holder thing that attaches to it. And then that attaches my 32-inch Marketplace finds that I bought for $25 a piece. Actually, only two of them. The third one came with my old house for free. And then I did get Fanatec inverted pedals to go with my Fanatec Club Sport wheel. So I actually have pretty decent equipment on my Amazon stuff.
So this falls into the category of Scott Robertson's "How you do anything is how you do everything."
I made a conscious decision.
Your race sim is made of good stuff that was got on great bargains.
Yes, there's not a single thing on there that I bought new besides Amazon garbage. Everything else was used good stuff. Yeah, because I bought the wheel off of Josh LePetri because he upgraded to some direct drive fancy boy thing, and then the inverted pedals I got off of eBay. But I don't know. I spent a bunch of time getting it set up so that it's the same height and spacing of the 350Z, and then also the same feel. So I'm pretty happy with that because I felt like that was a big driver of like mistakes. Maybe was that I would use a sim that wasn't at least similar enough to reality, so that I'd have like bad muscle memory. Again, I'm making up fake excuses as to why I suck at driving, but
if you can't make excuses about virtual racing, you can't make excuses about real racing.
Thank you.
Practice like you perform.
Exactly. But yeah, so now after Mid-Ohio, I was like, you know what? I kind of enjoy this again, and I kind of miss enjoying sim racing, and I just went like, I'm gonna buy a few things, and then I got right back into it. And then I went down the deep end of just like, I'm going to do this for the love of the game again. And then I just ordered my Jim Wolf Technology order today for the winter engine build. That
9,000 glorious RPM is coming.
It's for sure 8,000, but I don't think we can get to 9 with the setup. I think we can get power through 8 is what we can do is where we're at.
So
because everybody calls up Jim Wolf and says, here's what I want to do with this engine. And then they're like, yeah, we can do that with a custom grind.
It's not that much more.
It's not anymore, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's like the same price, but it's just like, yeah, it's just not on the shelf. We've done it before. It's similar to what we've done before. We'll just do this. Oh, okay. Just invoice me.
So is this going to be? So it's going to bump power? Is it also going to be like a mid-range?
Yeah.
Boost,
So basically, this whole started on the way home from Mid-Ohio. I called Joe and was like, "Hey,
I'm getting taken to Gapplebee's. How can you help me?"
I'm like, on paper, I'm maxed out in GLTC trim. I can't like add power without adding much of weight. Like it's on, like in theory, I'm at where as best I can do here, and I'm getting fucking walked as if I'm standing still, like as if I'm down 50 horsepower. It's like I'm clearly missing a piece of this puzzle. So like, what can I do with what I have? So I called Joe. I was like, hey, what would it take to do like mid-range power? Because right now all I got is like 6,600 RPM on a V6. It's not going to get you very far. So I was like, just brainstorming ideas on what we could do. And then he's like, you should call Clark at Jim Wolf. I was like, okay. And then I took a screen grab of my dyno graph, and then I just drew a line of like power in the mid range, and then power all the way out to like 8,500 RPM. And I sent it to him. I was like, this is my dyno graph, and then this is what I want it to be. He's like, yeah, we could do that. Okay.
That's the answer I was looking for, actually. Oh, okay.
Yep. I just kind of gave him a rough idea of what I thought it would take. He's like, yeah, we can do that with this, and then you have the right idea with everything else you have in mind. I was like, all right. So now I have the spare VQ that I was given because it came out of an automatic whatever car that they broke off the crank bolts. I have a spare set of heads and crank from Joe. I have that free VQ that I got from that parts car. And then E-Man is in the process of swapping out the one with the spun bearing for another VQ in his S14. So I'm going to take, of the 3.5 VQs that I have that are spares, I'm going to turn that into one good one. And then I'm going to take the current good one out of the car. And then this built engine is going to go in, hopefully by next spring. That's the plan.
Sweet.
So
is it getting? Are you doing anything rotating assembly wise, or just cams and
rods and pistons? Because I have to have pistons that have at least 3 millimeters of valve interference or lack thereof. And an OEM doesn't do that. But shockingly, they don't recommend changing the valves. I thought for sure I was going to have to upsize those.
Yeah, which I never have. I haven't dug in real deep on one, because if I ever get this deep into that on mine, it's just gonna grow 2 more cylinders. But
I'm sick. I admit that.
My dad has actually tried to convince me we should get another one of those and build a hot rod out of it and put it in there.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I like the fact that there's one vehicle in our little stable that I don't even like, the engine is just not even on my mind at all. It just does its thing.
Yep. I'm fully aware the easy button would be to just like yank this VQ out and throw in, 5.3 or a 5.7 LS and just be done with it. But that doesn't, I've done that route. That doesn't sound exciting to me. Taking an engine and building it for myself my way. Like, I've had this dreamed up in my head for years. I've always talked about like wanting to do it. And it's like, I'm finally at a point where it's like, you know what? That's what I want to do this winter. I want to build that engine, take the time to do it right. And then hopefully by spring be able to swap that out and then get all the tuning and stuff done.
Are you bumping compression at all, or?
Joe has a set of pistons, and I assume they could probably be 11-to-1 compression.
Okay.
That's usually what the aftermarket goes to. So I'll double check that. But if I do, it's going to go 11-to-1.
Yeah. Which I think I've looked a lot at what the HRs are, because I think the HR is like just shy of 11-to-1, or it might be 11-to-1.
I'll say, I think it's up there. Yeah.
This was one of those, right? Whenever I got my car, I opened up the thing and it says premium fuel only, and I'm like, why does it say that? And then I went and looked at the specs. Oh, yeah, that number right there. That's why. Okay.
Yeah. The real annoying thing is that a lot of people will buy the rods and pistons, and you can see them on Marketplace and eBay all the time, but they're always for boost. It's always the lower compression one. It's like, this does me no good. Your half price rods and pistons, they don't work
to make it 9.5-to-1.
Yeah, that doesn't do me any good here. So no, but yeah, so just stockpiling parts. I got the head set aside. I got cams, obviously, and the whole valve train and all that stuff's coming. And then I just tore apart one engine while Email was working on his S14 the other day, and then the other one. So basically, I'm just going to take like all the best parts off of each one that doesn't require being replaced, and then have one good engine. So,
and then where? Because like, if you went up in displacement, you'd get to a modifier at, is it 4 liters, or is it?
No, that don't matter. 3? No, engine displacement doesn't matter anymore.
Okay.
It's just horsepower.
Okay. So I couldn't remember if that.
And I'm sure it's going to change. Yeah, I'll say it's
Yeah, I knew that was a thing at one point because Austin was, I think, taking a hit just because it was
3.7. Yeah.
3.7 instead of 3.5.
Yep. But to be fair, that engine is remarkably better than the VQ or the DE.
Yeah, yeah. Which it's all the improvements that they did on the HR plus extra displacement. So
Yep. Yeah. So I have no idea what they're going to change the rules to, if there's going to be a dramatic shift over the winter or not, or anything like I'm not like that's not really important to me. This sounds fun, and
Well,
and that's where I'm at.
and if you make something that makes 70 or 80 more horsepower than what it did, and you've got more area to detune it and play with it.
Yep.
Let Joe get in there and do his thing.
Yeah,
that'll be.
I'm going to talk to Joe.
That's a lot better place to start from, I feel like.
Yeah, he's actually took vacation day today, so I'm proud of him for that. And he's going to call me tomorrow. That'll be Wednesday, and we're going to actually kind of start talking about finer details like E85 stuff like that. So it's a lot of moving parts. Nothing's completely hammered down at this point, but just starting to get all the pieces put together for that puzzle. And I'm excited about it. I think that's the biggest thing, is that I was talking to Jess about it, and it's just like this. I'm excited to do things again. So
Yep.
we're gonna roll into this for now.
Yeah, it's cool to do projects on the car that are like making it better and not like fixing it.
Yep. Well, it's like I kind of went down the rabbit hole of like gearing. I was like, man, like what can I possibly do to get the optimized gearing? Because I could go to like a 3.9. I'm at like 409 right now, and we talked about that I think on last episode of the episode before, and I was just like really in the weeds. Like what? Like I think I got the best option at this point, and then I'd like did the calculator as if I extend the RPM range past 6,600, like can actually use it to even 7,600. And it's just like, oh, we can just forget about all that and move on if I actually have usable power.
Yeah. What helps with gearing is 1,500 extra RPM and 60 foot-pounds of torque. That helps a lot with gearing.
Yep.
There's a reason that a Corvette can kick my ass in third and fourth gear only around the track, and it's because it makes torque. That's right.
Yeah. No. So that's where we're at with that. Just other than that, the car is going to be basically swap tires, and then I'm ready for my Mid-Ohio test day. I'm just because I don't want to burn up the Kumos, because I have those Nexans that are perfectly good, and I have no use for them besides test days. So we're just gonna burn them up. Other than that,
cool.
Other than that, I'm just doing a lot of sim racing just for funsies.
That's exciting. So on your sim pedals, is it a load cell brake?
Yeah, it's the Club Sport V3s, I think. Yeah, V3s, the inverted ones.
Yeah, I need to track down something like that. Which I have a secondary set of considerations now, though, because my kid is driving on it a lot.
Yep.
And the Logitech brake works really well for a kid that weighs 42 pounds. Yeah. Because you can actually brake with it whenever you can only put like
just a
9, like 10 pounds of force on it or whatever he does. So I got him a shirt from Road America, and it has it says Road America on it, and it has the track outline above it. And I showed it to him last night, and he's like, one, that's clothing, so I don't really care that much about it. But two, I show him, I'm like, that's the outline of the track that I was at this weekend. And he's like, I see this kind of light bulb come on, and he's like, can we drive it on your computer?
Yup.
And it turns out we can't, because I don't have it in Assetto. I need to go find it. But
just remind me. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, it's one of those I can't believe that I haven't gotten it. But so we had to do a few laps because I promised him that we would do that tonight, and then I forgot that we were recording. So we had to do a couple laps. We ended up going to Laguna, so we went to another classic American road racing facility. But
that's too bad there's none in Texas that you could show him. But
yeah,
shame.
Oh, so he's put in so many laps at Eagles Canyon because he knows that that's where I go and run a lot. And like anytime I ask him, he's like, "Oh, I want to do that one."
At least it's a good track.
Yeah, and then like he went out there with me to check out the Targo weekend, and the next time that we drove it after that, he's like, "Oh yeah, this is the track we went to and saw your friends race."
Yep.
It's like
it's pretty wild that you can like when you're actually like on the track or in the sim or whatever, you can kind of like look around and be like, this all feels familiar, not just on the track.
Yeah. Yeah. The map of Eagles that I have is like pretty legit. And it was just, there's a group that has just like a Discord channel that somebody on there put it together, but they did a good job of it.
Yeah, you can tell that people know what they're doing and give a crap because like the details are there and they're a lot of fun.
And then what's freaky is I have one for Motorsports Ranch Crescent that some guy in like Poland put together. Like there was a group that just commissioned him to do it, and I don't understand how, but it has like the bumps are pretty accurate.
That's
like,
crazy.
It's trippy to me, and it's one of those like I got it driving it for a little bit, and there's a corner like kind of on the back corner of the track that the apex of it is just super rough, and I'm driving it in like I've landed on the MX-5 Cup car as being the only thing that it's not a direct analog to a 350Z at all, but it's fairly predictable, and I can kind of slide it around and play with it some, and it's pretty forgiving. And I'm going through that in the car, like feels like it's coming off the ground. And then I go back and watch one of my onboard videos, and I'm like, oh, my head is doing this through that corner every time. So I guess he got it pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. Like you can get real close. I think I remember watching like a tutorial on how to do it. Like you could steal a lot of like the topographical stuff off of like Google Earth and stuff. Yeah. But like, to get those type of details, you actually have to be paying attention and have someone that can tell you like exactly the behaviors but that's a level of detail you can't just get from a Google topographical map. Yeah.
And the freakiest experience I've had with that was whenever we ran Barber in 2018, and I put probably 200 laps in on that track on iRacing. So that was laser scan.
Yep.
And we got there, and I go out they would do just a recon lap session for everybody to go around and get a sighting lap and then make sure that all the transponders were working. And there's like this kind of short shoot straight on it that had a bump about a third of the way down it. And every time you would do a lap in iRacing, you'd get to that point and you'd feel the wheel go ka-kunk. And I go out on the recon lap and I turn onto that straight and I track over to the left, ka-kunk. Like, whoa.
Yup.
And then, like, that was the first weekend that I had sim work on a track, and my driving was like as good as it could ever possibly be for that weekend. Yeah.
So when you got a good sim and a good setup, and you're getting good muscle memory, it legitimately plays a positive role.
Yeah, and for me, just the familiarity and just car placement. Like I don't get as much, and I don't think about it in terms of like, break points and stuff like that are kind of whatever, but turn in points and things like that.
Yeah.
Just knowing in general where I want the car to be. That's what I try to take from it more than anything. But
for sure. I got one more thing, and then we're gonna be done. Completely caught up with me, and we can be done talking about me.
We'll still talk about you. Oh, I have things.
Oh, okay. So a while back, E-Man made a comment to me. He's like, yeah, so like that old 350Z that I had, the one that he sold to Trevor that ended up getting sold to Luke. He's like, yeah, when we were drifting it that one time, like I shot, I blew up. And he's like, so if you want this, it's got like he said at the time, this would have been like, I don't know, a year ago. He's like, it's got a Tomy in it. So if it's usable, you can have it. I was like, okay, great. And then like we didn't do anything with it. And then like a month ago, he's like, yeah, I still got that diff if you want to take a look at it. I'm pretty sure it's a Geiken. And so
slight difference.
And like,
I've got this rock. I'm not sure if it's shiny. Pretty sure it's gold. I think it's gold.
It's got to be gold. So he brought it over and I took it apart, and like I didn't really think about it. Thinking back over the conversations we've had over the last year or so about it, and it's like, you know what, I'm pretty sure he did say Tomy the first time, but like he said Geiken recently, and I was like, I tunnel vision like a fucking Geiken. So then I get it all pulled apart, and so I had PTSD moment because I pulled it apart, and whoever assembled this thing did the Sabiko thing and didn't do anything to keep the bolts from where they're supposed to be. So like, I pulled the cover off, and shockingly, not a lot of metal flakes in there. But what I noticed immediately is that the ring gear bolts, the ones that I can see, are like half out. So one is missing, and that's what knocked the holes in the cover and the pumpkin. And then it was like wedged up in the front by the gear of the final drive. So then I took the diff out, and then half of the bolts I could remove with my fingers, and there was not a drop of Loctite on it. And then the other ones I had to, hold on. Sorry, I had a nice pop up from Zoom. So then the other ones I actually had to remove with a wrench, but like they were all backed up a little. And the crazy thing was, like, so you got the gear that goes like to the drive shaft. That one was like chewed up beyond use, but shockingly enough, the one that's on the diff had like only wear on the outside. Like none of it, the teeth were actually damaged. It was really weird. But not usable. So definitely like, but of course it was like a different gear set. I was like, it would have been nice to have a 3.9 just to have it. But yeah, so it was just kind of like reminded us of when we were at Sebring when that transmission let go, because it was the exact same failure. Just that ring gear bolt just backing its way out and then shooting through the bell housing.
Ugh.
So
you were like that meme with the Chihuahua seeing like helicopters.
Actually, I sent a picture to Booney, the picture that I'm showing on the screen right now, and he sent that exact GIF back. I popped that cover.
Great minds.
Yep. I popped that cover off, and I turned to Eman and I go, "Oh, I know what happened here."
Just be glad this isn't connected to the transmission.
Yep. So, so I was waiting for, so let's see. So I took it apart and then let it sit, just disassembled on the bench, and then, actually, like everything looked like it was fine, like from the limited slip standpoint. And so I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna throw this Geiken in mine. So then I took mine out of the car, and then had that basically ready to go, and then disassembled what I thought was the Geiken, put it back together, and like it didn't occur to me that as I'm reassembling this after I've inspected everything and like everything, like there's no real damage to it except for like a few dings and dents on the outside of it. Like everything functions like it's supposed to. And I put it all back together, and like as I'm taking the one out of the car off, to like I haven't inspected it since I've installed it, so it was like definitely due for that. And as soon as I popped the cover off of mine, because that also needed to be replaced because that had the broken ribs on it from the crash back in last year. So I was going to replace that anyways because I ordered a new one. And I take it off and I take one look at it and was like, God damn it, they're the same.
This is the same.
And then it just hit me. It was like when it was disassembled, the pressure core part is a totally different design between the Tomy and the Geiken. Because the Geiken has like a spring assembly and the gears are totally different. And then the Tomy has like very traditional gears. And so like I knew that. And like for whatever reason, as I had it disassembled and was like inspecting everything and put it back together, it was like it didn't hit me like this isn't a Geiken. I know this isn't a Geiken. So it's
your brain wanted.
I wanted it to be I wanted it to be a.
You were willing it to be a Geiken, just like I try to will my Quaif out of every corner to be a Geiken.
So like good news is the one that was in my car had like no signs of wear, no like flakes in the oil, like everything's good. So I took the new cover, put it on that, put that back in the car. And then just took now my spare Tomy and put that on the shelf. Because it's the exact same copy paste 1.5 way. I mean it's if it adds a few like dings on the outside of it from where the bolts rattled around, everything else looks like ship shape. No shit was inside that I couldn't just clean out, and no damage inside the actual limited slip.
So can you the 1.5 way 2-way on that? Can you change that, or is it like two different models?
Two different models.
Differential?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, like a 1-way, 1.5 way, and then a 2-way, and it's a totally different setup. So like you would have to have a different pressure ring piece. So that assembly would have to be different. So, they're both 1.5 ways. You can change like preloads and all that stuff.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I've only both on the Z and in the Camaro and now the truck. Everything we've done has been helical gear. So
yep,
I haven't had the pleasure of having that as a tuning tool to mess up.
Oh yeah, that's a whole nother rabbit hole I haven't completely gone down yet, but can definitely start working on that stuff. And now that I have the safety net of having a spare on the shelf,
Yeah. Let's lock this baby up.
Let's do it. But yeah, but of course, because just like with the GTR wheel hubs, he told me it was a bolt-on thing, no problem. Just like he told me this was a Geiken, even though that's not really what he said. But obviously I had to give him shit and say, like, dude, you told me this was a Geiken. I bought the fluid and everything.
Got $200 worth of fluid sitting here. Come on.
No, it's fine. So no, it was nice to know that the one that I put together was still good after a few years. So went right back in, took it for a test drive, all good.
Nice.
And that's all I'm up to. I mean that's it.
Brief production timeout. Are we about to have a Zoom apocalypse?
Why is yours mad at you too?
It says 3 minutes and 50 seconds left.
Meeting 40 minutes. Is it really going to do this to us?
I think so. Do we
I
still have the premium?
I know what I did. I logged into the podcast. That's why it says 1010s podcast instead of my name.
Oh no.
All right, so we're going to actually have to stop the podcast. And then we're going to have a nice little edit right here. Ching, and then we'll jump right back into it when it says Robbie Veer out on the bottom, because that's the wrong login. So we'll catch everybody in a second. And just like that, we're back. So basically, when my computer does like a big update, it resets like two things. OBS resets my default audio input, which is no big deal because the only thing I use that for is like aligning the video and the audio during my editing. So not the end of the world, especially now that we use Zoom 100% of the time. But the other thing it will reset is that it'll set the default on Zoom to the podcast. But that's not a paid for subscription, whereas my personal one is. So
40-minute podcast.
Yeah, 40-minute podcast if you stay logged into that. So that's the annoying thing I forgot to check. So I'm glad we caught that. But yeah, so totally caught up on all the things I've been doing. But you did cool stuff.
So apparently we only record podcasts when we've been to a Grid Life.
That's pretty common. Pretty common.
Because I had my rotation on my way home today had worked through on the queue, and our last show came up, and it was the Mid-Ohio show. I was like, oh, this is convenient.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So yeah, I took planes, trains, and automobiles and went up to Wisconsin to go to Road America for Summer Apex Fest, and it was utterly amazing, just absolutely insane. So I had, I've talked for 2 years now that I need to go to a festival again. I had so much fun at Midwest, but I kind of like, if I'm gonna, this year I felt like if I'm gonna haul off and do that, like I want to go somewhere that I really want to shoot Like Gingerman is really cool, and the festival itself is just absolutely insane overall.
However,
However, from a photography standpoint, Road America is I can't imagine that there's many cooler places in the US to go and shoot pictures of dumb race cars for an entire weekend, because the facility is massive and it's lush and green, and it's like a nature preserve. There's just a 4-mile racetrack running through the middle of it, and it's like at the end of the day, it's like being able to go on a nature hike, but you've got a camera in your hand and there's cars running 180 miles an hour, like right over there. So I decided like a month and a half ago I was going to do this, and looked into the flights and everything. And it turns out that it's the same week that the Oshkosh EAA AirVenture giant air show thing is happening, like 40 minutes away from where Road America is. So the closest airport to get into Oshkosh and Road America is Milwaukee. And so everyone's flying into Milwaukee and everyone's renting a car. So the rates were insane. Like $700 difference to do it into Milwaukee versus Chicago between the car and the flight. The number going into Milwaukee was like, I can't stomach that, to just go take pictures and hang out for a weekend. Like, I just really can't wrap my head around that amount of money to do that. But then doing it to Chicago was like, oh, that's still not a responsible number of dollars to spend for a weekend of entertainment, but it's way more reasonable. So
I mean, it's what flights cost.
It's the cost of getting on an airplane in the year 2025, apparently. So
Yep.
So the week leading up to it, I'm watching the weather once we get in the range of the 10-day, and it's just rain. It's just like from Thursday through Sunday, it is just monsoon season in Wisconsin, apparently. And I'm like, okay. So there's Amazon orders showing up every day for 3 days with, like legit rain gear. And I went to DSW and got the only waterproof like hiking shoes that they had. And I'm like, if I prepare enough for rain, there will be no rain. That's my mindset here.
It's like having rain tires, man. If you have them, you'll never need them.
Yeah, if you show up with sticker Hoosier wets, it's going to be the driest weekend on record.
Yep.
And then so I'm watching this weather forecast with like supreme anxiety because I'm going and I'm doing car camping in the rental car. I have protective gear, or like I have like the little plastic bag thing for my camera and like a rain cover for my camera bag. But like, I'm not like super prepared to go out and risk all of my equipment to get epic, glorious rain shots at Road America. I'm going to, like, clearly if it happens and I'm there, I'm going to, but I don't really want to. And then, as I'm like getting mentally prepared for all of that on Sunday night, putting the kid to sleep, I'm like, just a slight tinge in my throat.
It wouldn't be a grid life if you weren't half sick on the way there.
Yeah. So yeah, we like in the span of like 3 hours on Sunday night, I went from fine to my nose is running buckets. I'm sneezing like crazy. I didn't ever have like a fever, but I had like my head felt like a balloon from sinus pressure. I don't think I had been like truly fully knocked my ass down sick since PRI.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. So the common denominator here is if you're traveling across the country to go to a place that Adams Bay is, you're probably going to get sick beforehand. And I guess that's just how things work. So,
yep.
So stayed home from work Monday and Tuesday, just resting up and just trying to be like, oh God, like please just get over this before I get on an airplane on Thursday. And went to the urgent care and got a prescription for antibiotics and a steroid shot in the butt, and like felt good enough to go to work Wednesday. Packed all my stuff up Wednesday night. It's like, all right, just getting on a plane tomorrow and we'll see what happens. Getting on an airplane with congestion, head, ear stuff, always fun. You know, about a third of the way into the flight, and then a third of the way before the end of the flight, your ears go.
Yeah. Then you feel like you're underwater the whole time.
Yeah, and then for the first like day and a half after landing, my ears are both just. I've got built-in ear protection for the the race. At
totally
least.
Fine.
So, yep. So got into Chicago and landed. I flew into O'Hare, which luckily is like north of the main part of Chicago, so you don't have to actually.
Yeah, you don't have to drive through the shittiest part of the interstate.
Yeah. Like do the you run a gauntlet to get to the rental car at that airport, but you get out there and they have like there's like 2 Ford Escapes or some kind of Hyundai to pick from. I'm like, well, there's a white Ford Escape. I'm like, okay, white's going to reflect the heat out of it during the day, so maybe it won't be as hot whenever I try to lay down in it at 2:00 in the morning to go to sleep.
Yeah. And Escape's big enough in the back that you can sleep comfortably ish.
Yes. There's a caveat there.
Yep. As a Ford Bronco owner, I'm similarly aware of how that seat works.
The same.
Yep.
Yeah, they're basically the same on the inside.
Yep.
So I make the drive up. I stop and get food. It's like a pretty uneventful, boring drive. Get to the track at make a Walmart run, because that's what you have to do whenever you are in town for a Grid Life event, is go stimulate the local economy. Get to the track at like 2:30 or something like that, and Road America has a main gate that pulls down into like the paddock area, and there's like this pull out off to the side, and there's this nice little Credential building, and this is the start of everything at Road America just being cool. It's like there's the building right here where you get your stuff, and if you're pulling a trailer, there's a staging area right next to it, so you're not blocking the road, you're not trying to figure out where the hell you need to go. There's signs. There's
at least one person there yelling at you for when you don't go in the right spot.
Yeah, there's multiple people there that are ready to ask you, or ready for you to answer your dumb question about what the logistical things are. Because I'm the type of person that every time we would go race somewhere new, I was way more worried about like what's the load in situation? How's the paddock set up? I wasn't worried about the apex of turn 9 or anything like that. I was way more worried about what's the situation with how do we get from here to there, all that kind of stuff. And similarly, that's the same thing that I'm thinking about the whole time leading up to this, is like, where am I going to be able to park the car? Like, the place is giant. I assume I'll be able to just park the car anywhere and sleep in it, but I don't know for sure. And then just right away, to ease all of my anxieties, I pull up and there's Jabay leaning up against a post on the front porch of the contingent or of the Credential little house thing, and walk up and, hey, how's it going? He tells the guy in the window who I am. I show him my Tour Club ticket and I get a wristband and a parking pass. I'm like, all right, things are going to be smooth.
So far, so good.
Good weekend. It's like my heart rate goes down like an order of magnitude. Like, okay, we're good. So just hung out and killed a couple hours, just roaming around, checking stuff out. And so Matt Beck, that we had on the show, that's from Austin, was coming up with his GLTC 240SX. So been talking back and forth with him a bunch over the last couple of weeks leading up to it, and pretty well figured that I would just invite myself to their party, which worked out.
That's what I would have done.
Yeah. So, and they have a super cool group. It was him, with his GLTC car, and then his friend Danny, who has a Honda Civic that I believe is in track mod in Time Attack.
That sounds right.
So,
Yes.
black Civic hatch with 305s on the front. It's completely unmistakable whenever you see it on track. And then a couple of their other friends that just come and hang out with them, doing, like helping crew and that kind of stuff. And they had an awesome group. It was just, I just kind of rolled right in, and it's like, hey, we're all afflicted with this stupid thing, and we all get it. We all know each other, even though we just met, yesterday.
So that is one thing I've definitely, I think I kind of forgot about it, just like in the last couple of years, just being like, so looking at it so jadedly, like just because how bad things had gone. But like when you go to like a grid life and then you paddock next to somebody and then it goes smoothly and now you're like friends with them.
Yeah.
And now every time you go to an event and you see that person, you're now friends with them, and you can like just walk into their paddock, and now you're like, you can be your group now. It's like that kind of happened with like the whole Seems Legit team. Basically, we parked next to them like twice at a couple different events, and now it's like Jess and Kendra get along really well, and so now they go and catch up when they're at events together, and like so like we actively try to park next to them now. So it's just kind of funny how you'll go into strangers, and then you like all of a sudden you're like, now you're good friends. You'll be texting between events.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like there was Mike Coons that has a Subaru was right next to us, and I was talking to him a little bit. He's
another super great guy.
Yeah, and he was just like, he's like, everybody like tries to get their whole group together or whatever. He was like, I just go and park wherever, and then by the end of the weekend, we're all family.
That's dead right.
And it was one of those, like, I was kind of apprehensive about it because I've known all of you guys now, and I knew that none of our normal crew was going to be here. And then within a couple hours of just roaming around, and I've talked to like 5 or 6 people that I know, and we're catching up and everything. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. Like this is our people.
You know way more people than you think you do.
Yeah. At one point during load in, I look up and there's a van pulling this kind of old beat up enclosed trailer that has like the outlines of some landscaping company lettering on it. And I'm like, ooh,
that looks familiar.
It's got Ohio plates. Man, I have like flashback, like Nam era flashback visions of that trailer. Where have I seen? That's Tommy.
I had no idea he was going.
I did not expect it at all. And then I looked up and it made perfect sense all at the same time. So, Thursday night was pretty low key. Just went into town and got a few more things and ate a sandwich and then crashed. And so the thing I wasn't prepared for, being that far north, there's 15 and a half hours of daylight.
Oh yeah.
And it starts at like 4:55 a.m. And my wonderful like brain body system, man, sun comes up, my eyes open. Yep. It doesn't matter. So I was awake at 5 a.m. on Friday morning. It's like, well, nobody up and around yet. I'm going to go down there because there's a bathroom that's like halfway down the hill on that main paddock road that has a single shower on it, and it's got a bench and it's got warm water.
Oh, that's the one that's across from the restaurant.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
And at 5 a.m.,
no
it's
one's
all
there.
yours.
Yep.
I just took the most leisurely, nice. You have to keep pressing the button on the wall.
That is the worst part, but they do like legitimately all the facilities are great besides the button pushing to take your shower.
Yeah, and like took a nice shower, went back, just kind of chilled in the car for a little while. Breakfast at the concession stand starts at 6:30. So go down and get me a little bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich and a nice French vanilla coffee for like $12, which is not bad at all at a racetrack.
Super reasonable for concession prices. Yep. And the quality. The quality is always
it's real ass food, like
top notch.
Yeah. So yeah, like everywhere you go at the track, there's bathrooms, most of them with showers because they're just set up for people to be camping there. Like it just there's so many things about that place that they get it.
Yes.
You can tell that it's built around the spectator experience, and everything's super nice. It's like, it's nice, but it's not to the point of like, this is nice and I feel like I'm gonna like encroach on somebody if I do something wrong. Like, it doesn't feel stuffy. And it's like meeting at 8:00 in the morning. We all get our vests, take off, and I like so the meeting is in the tower on the front straight.
Oh, I've never been on that side.
Yeah. So there's a tunnel that goes under like right and the like right next to it. So it works out perfectly. They were saying, it said in the media email that media parking was going to be right over behind the tower. And I'm like, that doesn't really, like, I need to be parked inside the track, please.
And like, really, that would not be a big deal because you just, instead of going under the tunnel into the paddock, you just go left and then go around. I'm pretty sure. You just go to the other, like basically to the other gate and then over, I would assume.
Yeah, it didn't end up being an issue.
Right. And I'm sure they didn't care, but.
Yeah. Something like I take off and start walking. I'm like, well, I could, like, the closest thing I can get to, I think I shot a little bit on the front straight. Like, the closest thing I can get to is like going down by turn 5.
Yep.
So like go back across the main road to turn 5 and start heading up back into the trees, back up that straightaway. And then there's a gate right next to a corner worker stand. Okay, cool. I'll hop in here and get up against the fence.
Did you get a little better access having like full blown media, or were you still pretty
I was able,
where most spectators are?
Yeah, I had track access, so
nice.
I was able to go on the other side of the chicken wire fence.
So like 10 feet closer or whatever.
So you
Really?
don't truly that track, you do not have to have media access to get amazing stuff.
Right.
Most of the time I was about 10 feet closer than what I would have been without it.
Yep. I'm just trying to think of the places that I had been, like Canada Corner and stuff too. Is just like spectators are right there. Like the only difference is you have the ability to be like, no, I get to stand in front of you.
Yeah, you're right on the track almost everywhere. There was a good portion of what I shot. I wasn't worried about having, that extra access through the gates. It was nice to have because
Then no one's in your way.
And like there's places on the track where it gets you positioned right to get a little more interesting angle and stuff like that. But so I hop through the little gate and I go up here and there's a window because there's catch fence on the whole like back half of that straight because that straight is so damn fast and it's downhill and it has a bend in the middle of it. And so there was also, along with with all of the grid life stuff, there was the USF Juniors series that was running. So it's these little open wheel cars that they look like baby F1 cars. I don't know what.
Isn't that the series that had that horrible accident like 2 or 3 years ago going into 5? Like somebody launched it. Like they.
So
anyways.
So let me. So I get up here for these cars, and I'd seen them. I guess they did something on They ran a practice session on like Thursday evening, and I shot them on like the front straight, and they were surprisingly loud. Whenever there's a pack of 25 of them, whenever you've got congested ears, so I stick my head down here, and I'm up against the fence for them coming down the straightaway in this giant pack, like 3 wide. And I'm looking through the viewfinder at these little open wheel cars, and I see the ones in the middle are moving back and forth because they're jockeying for position at probably 125 miles an hour at the point that I'm at. And I'm kind of looking back up the hill a little bit at them through the viewfinder. I did that for 2 laps, and I have it like all of these bad open wheel, touch wheels, car flies through the air wrecks just flash through my head.
Were you on the front? Were you on the front straight, or were you over by almost by turn 5 on this?
No, this is on the straight down into 5.
Yes. Okay. I want to make sure I'm picturing where you are.
Yeah. So, and it's all trees, like, it's gorgeous. It's absolutely awesome shooting back up that straight. I got so weirded out seeing those guys jockeying for position and pointed right at me, I bailed.
Yep.
I did it for 2 laps, and I was like, I've stood next to Top Fuel cars. I've stood on the outside of the wall at Bowling Green with drift cars blowing stuff at me. I am out on this. This is super sketchy.
Yeah, it might not be USF Juniors, but it was like one of those, F4 or one of those like smaller Formula series. It was only a handful of years ago that basically going into the braking zone of 5, one of the other cars like launched off of them and ended up in that catch fence where you would have been standing.
Yeah. And that was exactly what I had in my head whenever I was seeing them through the viewfinder changing positions like in the middle of that pack, and I just see tires hitting each other and cars going airborne, and I was like, nope, this isn't. I would stand there and shoot GLTC all day long.
Sure.
But open wheel cars, it gave me the same kind of like tripped up feeling that shooting the motorcycles did on the flat track deal of just, it's so much different than what I'm used to seeing.
Yep.
That
It's probably going to be fine, but there are times that it's not fine.
I would hate for my last thought to be, wow, those cars are flying through the air and pieces are coming off of them. And then that's that.
Yeah, that'd be bad. You don't want that.
So I bailed out from there and then just took off like back up that straightaway. I was like, well, I'll walk up here and see what I find. Then I'll walk up here a little bit further and I'll see what I find. And then next thing I know, I'm going over the Sargento Bridge. And then the next thing I know, I'm headed down kind of through the middle. And then I'm up over by what used to be the Johnsonville Bridge, now is the Motul Bridge. That's the entrance to the carousel.
Oh, yep.
And then so the setup, the main paddock over by the front straight was all of the Grid Life stuff. So Time Attack, GLTC, and Rush were all over there in like the main and the upper paddock area. And then Drift Paddock and the festival setup was all out in the middle of the carousel section.
Kind of like where the kart track is.
Yeah, by the kart track, yeah. So that whole area is like they're using a huge section of it for the stage, for the big festival stage. It was basically the same stage they had for Midwest, but Jabez said they didn't make it as tall as what it was at Midwest, but it had the the angled screens on the side.
I do like that setup. I think it looks really good.
It was super cool, and it had freaking laser beams on the top of it that were shining off. Like it had to have been visible from space. It was insane.
And you did get a really good picture of that.
Oh, this is just all going to be tangents, this entire discussion.
That's what a podcast is. It's nothing but tangents.
So one of the things from Midwest that I didn't like, whenever I would get done shooting the track for the day, I just put the camera in the bag and just hung out and had a good time. And I looked at it afterwards and saw like all of the cool pictures from the show, from the concerts. I was like, damn, I should have taken my camera down there. So that was one. It was like, okay, I have 2 different cameras. I have like one that's like kind of mid-range and then one that's like pretty damn good. I'll take the mid-range one down there, so in case something stupid happens to it during golf cart shenanigans or whatever, like I'm not as heartbroken about it. And yeah, just playing with the camera during that, and which I think the one that I sent you is just from my phone, but took a bunch of stuff both Friday and Saturday night. But so the whole carousel section is like, it's drift car paddock, it's drift cars going on the kart track. It's people just moving everywhere. With the big festival stage on Friday, they're doing sound check over there, so it's just constant. Boom, boom.
Did they do concerts 2 nights, or was it just one night again like last year?
No, it was Friday and Saturday. Okay. Flosstradamus was headliner Friday night, and then Disco Lines Saturday night.
Yep. I knew a lot of people were excited about Disco Lines.
That show was super cool. Nice. Flosstradamus was really cool too.
Yeah, I was gonna say I've seen him. I think I've seen him. Pretty sure. Either way.
So that whole section is just jumping. Like that whole section felt like what Gingerman does. Like just people and cars moving and just stuff happening everywhere you look. You know, trailers just jammed in right next to each other with cars sitting behind them. You know, like it felt like a baby version of what Midwest feels like, except that the stage is right in the middle of it too. Yep. So
I mean, it looked that way on the live stream. Like it looked like it was a really good spectator turnout. It looked like there was a good drifting turnout.
Yes. Yeah. Tons.
Yeah. Just like, because that area gets showed really easily during the live stream, like of races, because they'll be cutting through, whatever that turn number is before the carousel. So they'll be watching the cars go into that turn and then through the whole carousel. So you get that entire not paddock, but that whole area gets shown on the live stream. So it looked very busy in a very good way.
Yes. Yeah. So there's like going into that section of this yet again, Road America, and having this stuff down, going into that section, there's a road that crosses it that runs through the track. And then there's the road that goes down and that connects from the Sargento Bridge to the Motul Bridge. They had people out like from halfway through the morning on directing traffic at that intersection because it was just constant. You know, there's so many people on golf carts and driving around in cars, plus race cars and everything else. And there's, you know, all of the main roads have crosswalks on them that have an attendant at the crosswalk that's stopping people. And he's telling people if they're just moving through in a streetcar or on a golf cart, like, hey, stop, there's a race car behind you. Like, it's like fully like racer focused too. Like it was super impressive. And the number, like for as big as that place is, it felt alive and busy all through the inside of the track, which is wild to me.
Yeah, because
it's so much space. Like
right.
That place is huge. Like you could, like I think that they regularly put over 100,000 people in there, and this was a Grid Life event that it felt in that much space. It felt like the vibe of Midwest, where everything's just vibrating and just happy, you know. Because like everywhere you go, there's something going on.
Yeah, because even that NASCAR weekend that Grid Life was the feeder series for, whatever you want to call it, that was full of people. It didn't feel like it was full of people.
Yeah, and a lot of it was just because they have these concentrated areas where things are happening. So
sure,
they're giving people places to go, but I can only, like, I was just going through it at one point and just thinking about the number of hours and hours of, you know, the planning and, like, you know, the different parking access and the different this and the different that, like all these different little details to make something like that pull off. And it was absolutely just super impressive. But so I guess Friday morning I end up working my way over to the carousel, see all that set up, and like next thing I know, I'm up on the bluff, like looking down at the kink, and that's when I realize I'm like 2 miles from my car.
Yep.
And so I was talking about it with somebody, and they described walking around there as like climbing a tree. You just go and you go and you go and you don't think about it, and then you realize, oh, I gotta get back down from here. So I ended up taking the shuttle back on that time, because the shuttle on Friday was like pretty usable in the morning, and then it got to the point where every time I saw a shuttle, it was just packed from front to back, and nobody was getting off because everyone was either going to drifting or coming back from drifting to get back to like the main paddock. And there was there was like a line in the main paddock, and there was a line at the stop by the kart track where the drifting was. So it was
at that point, just walk.
Yeah, I'll just
it's not
walk
that
it.
far.
Yeah. So not that far over and over and over again on Friday turned into like 22,000 steps and like 10.7 miles of walking. So
I think you said you did like 28 miles over the whole weekend or something.
Over 4 days between all of the traveling to and from and everything at the track. I did 28.8 miles according to my trusty Apple Watch. So
that's one of those times where you're like, I'm really glad I spent the money on the shoes.
Yeah, so I just hauled off and randomly bought these hiking shoes because my old hiking shoes that I normally wear, they wear on me after I took the year at Midwest, I took my Vans with me and I would swap into my Vans after the end of the day of running around shooting. Like I didn't take these. I took them off at the end of the day and that was it. So shot like I guess I took a break at midday just to come back and just decompress and sit in the air conditioning. And I think like looked through some of the pictures from the morning, and I had like coming into it, I had 3 like knowing the track fairly well and then knowing the series. It's like okay, I got 3 things that I want to get. I want to get shooting down through the trees on the back section because like. Rob Wilkinson that shoots for Good Life he always has these magical, amazing shots from back there. Like,
yeah,
okay,
he has different light and
his sun
colors.
is not the same as
his sun's different than everybody else's. The colors are different. It's not fair.
Yeah, his sun is different than mine.
That being said, you got some fucking bangers.
So getting the shot through the trees, I got that Friday morning of the K Miata.
Yep.
That runs in GLGT. It's not as I told you, Rob wouldn't wipe his ass with it. But
that's not true. That is not true. That is not true at all.
I was pretty happy with it whenever I got it.
I purchased Rob Wilkinson pictures. He's got some great ones. This is also a great photo, so don't take credit away from yourself.
So there was through the trees. There was a drift car through the carousel, wide angle. Like what I had in mind was like crazy wide. And the time I got down there for the Saturday afternoon session, Saturday was cloudy all day. And then at like 4:30, the clouds I think it actually. I guess that's it rained during the GLTC race.
For like
turn 1 through 3.
Yep.
And then an hour later, the clouds just burned off. And there was full track drift at 5:25. And by Saturday afternoon, I had been running like mad. And I was like, I need to I got to chill and take a break. And I went way deep into the day before I ate, and I was like, I just need to just chill out, and maybe I don't shoot for a little bit. And then the clouds disappeared, and I got the text that Full Track Drift was welcome to come to grid. I was like, well, and I did drive the car over there for that one and parked like just outside of the carousel section, and then like ran my happy ass in to get inside the carousel and got possibly the coolest picture I've ever shot in my entire life. I don't know, of Vaughn getting in the Mustang party car, full lock in the middle of the carousel, boiling smoke, 8,500 RPM. The damn thing, the front of the car is just tack sharp.
It's so good. It's so good.
That
should be hung on the wall right here. That it's so good.
Yeah, I swept through, and I'm sitting here and I shoot because they're, they come through a couple cars and then there's a little bit of a lull, and they would come through and I would shoot a pan and then flip back through them and look at them in the viewfinder, and then just like put the camera down and just look around. This just because you can get fairly high up on like the edge of the bridge in the carousel.
Yep.
And just kind of take it all in. And that turn is such a huge radius. and it's just lined with trees along the back, and it's perfectly green grass leading down to it. And it's just this perfect little strip of asphalt, and there's little white puffy clouds, and the sun is just right. It's just golden, and I was like, this looks like a Forza photo session, except that I'm just standing here in the middle of it.
Yep.
And there was a couple of people that I was walking by, and I was like, I can't even believe this is real. It was so insane for like 25 minutes. And so like the kind of standouts in the drift guys, obviously Matt Kaufman.
Oh man. I was so glad on the live stream that they just kind of stopped what they were doing and just watched him for like 10 minutes.
So last year he had drifted the carousel and blew a tire in the middle of it. And they shared a clip from that, like leading up to the weekend on the Grid Life Instagram, I think. But so I had missed him the day before. I was trying to book it over there, and I got a shot of him in the corner, like in the little transition section leading up to the carousel whenever he did the full thing the first time.
Yep.
And I was kicking myself. I'm like, okay, I'm getting back over there for the next one. And then it was like Saturday morning, it was just gray, cloudy, kind of looking. And then I got my couple of shots of him during that afternoon session. But so that fool running down the front straightaway 160 miles an hour, and then just does a little flick and a little bit of handbrake and initiates at 160 miles an hour for turn one.
Insanity.
And then he was on the rest of the track. He was initiating, I think, coming under the Corvette bridge and linking it all the way through the carousel.
Yep. He would manji down into 8 and then link the whole thing.
I can't even, I don't even know. One, I don't know how the tires last that long.
No.
Especially the wheel speed that he's got with that car. Because I'm pretty sure that's what he had as his pro car.
I don't know if I'm remembering correctly. I want to say they were saying that he was only at like 600 something horsepower.
Yeah, but it makes good use of it.
Yeah.
Because I can't, watching the lower power cars try to do the carousel enlightened you as to how insane it is to do the whole thing, because that corner is so fast.
Yep.
And to do it with the back end of the car hanging out at that angle and probably 140 mile an hour wheel speed, something like that, like that, it blew my mind every time one of them would come through and do the whole thing. And so it was he was doing the whole thing, and then Vaughn and Harrison were doing it, and the Mustangs also.
Yep.
And I still reiterate from however many years ago, whenever I shot FD, the Mustangs still just sound so insane. And these weren't even the pro cars. These are just like blown, like
the RTRs.
Yeah, they're just supercharged 5.0s. They're not the big Roush motors like the pro cars have, but they still just scream.
Yeah, it sounds so good.
Yeah. Speaking of Vaughn, we're sitting. Friday night we go to dinner at so Road America is right next to Elkhart Lake, Wisconsin. That's the closest city to it. So the kind of 30-second history of Road America was Elkhart Lake in the 50s decided we want to have a road racing event. We're going to block off the streets and just have cars race on the streets. And they did it, I think, for a few years, and then
doesn't last very long when you do it that way.
Yeah, there was a few incidents, and city officials, state officials, possibly U.S. government officials told them, you can't do this anymore. And so there was a group of people got together and bought the land where Road America is now, and they went out and just carved a track into it. I think at least part of it was a rock quarry originally, and they just put down a 2-lane strip of asphalt that was a little over 4 miles, and that is the exact same configuration that it still is. It opened in 1955, and it's like you can go and find. I found way back whenever we ran there, I found a video from like 57 or something like that. That was an SCCA promotional video, and it's an onboard camera and a guy with like an MG or something, and he's running the track, and it's the same track.
It's the same thing, man.
Like, it's same. So cool. Like Can-Am cars ran there. Like Roger Penske drove a 917 there. You know, it just like. Man. So I like completely lost my train of thought.
You went to dinner, and
we went to dinner at so there's a resort in Elkhart Lake called Siebkens, and they have a bar called Stop In, and it is the place where like forever since the track is open, racers have gone there during the race weekends. Like Dan Gurney has had beer in there, you know, like AJ Foy, like name a person. They've been in there having a beer, telling wild ass stories. I think it said that the bill, or it says 1916 on the sign. I didn't look at all the history of it, but sure. The place has been there for a really long time.
Forever.
And you walk in, and the main part of the tavern bar area, everywhere you look is just stickers and signs and stuff. And it's like, I guess it's kind of evolved over time, because most of the stickers looked to be from the last like 20 to 25 years or so.
Yeah. Did you see ours? Our stickers are in there. And then the Factor Fab stickers are in there.
Okay. Well, that's
unless they've been covered.
I was laughing and thinking to myself, like, I wish I had some sticker that was related to any of the things that we do to stick up somewhere. But, but then like most of it looks to be fairly recent, but then you look around and you see some of the older stuff. Like there was one up kind of toward the bar that was Motec, but it said Motec fuel injection, and it was clearly from like probably the 90s. Yep. It's just everywhere I looked in there, there was something cool. And then in the men's bathroom, there's a picture that has all of these different old racing greats, all standing around the bar there. That's like a caricature kind of thing. So we ordered food. I'm on antibiotics, but I still had a beer because you have to have a beer in the Wisconsin bar that every racer known to man has ever had a beer in. Yep. So, and then while we're sitting there eating, I look up and here walks in this guy with a beard and a Monster Energy hat. I'm like, oh, that's Vaughn Gittin. Huh, yep. Okay, cool. And I think whenever we got there, the whole like Falcon crew was there with like Mike Burrows from Stance Works, and I think Matan and a bunch of the other guys that are all in their camp were sitting out on a thing on the little patio, finishing up their dinner when we got there and stuff. Just super cool, like just low key. Like I'm gonna sit in here and see somebody cool if there's a race going on. That's just how this place is gonna work. Yep. And the food was awesome. We just several of us just got sandwiches, but there was one of the guys got cheese curds, and they were like absolutely insane.
Wisconsin don't mess around with their cheese curds. Like that's no joke.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that was just from the times that we'd been there before. We had never made it up there, and I've heard stories about that place. So I was like, yeah, okay, I gotta check that box off. And we were sitting there Friday, and they're like, well, all right, where are we going to Siebkens? Like, ooh.
Yeah,
I am. There was one other car in our group that it's a FRS running in GLTC. He did not have a great weekend. He ended up getting into the wall on the way down to the kink.
Yeah, that one will reach out and bite you.
Yeah. I cannot.
There was a lot of mechanicals across, like just, I mean, Road America likes to eat cars. It's a thing. But yeah, it seems like to be between practice on Thursday and then throughout the weekend, like GLGT seemed to be hit especially hard. And then, yeah, like GLTC, there's like the start of practice Friday versus the end of race 4 was a pretty high attrition rate.
Yeah. I think a lot of it, the curbs there are big.
That'll
big,
rattle you to death.
Yeah, big angry curbs, and putting a tire on them at the wrong time with the wrong load, you're putting forces into a car that it may or may not be used to. And
yep. Well, that and like something fails and you end up into a wall, and it's a thing, and it hurts when it happens.
And like, it's crazy because the back section there, for it to be a big classic road course, the back section from the kink up through like 13, I guess, like it's almost like a street course. Like there's nowhere to go.
No, I mean, and
it's just track, a little strip of grass, and wall.
Yep. So like during the drivers meeting, I think WRL did it. I know Grid Life did it. So it's just kind of like there's always that like warning about the front straight. Like, don't try to make a move that's super risky on the start, because that's how you turn this entire race field into a fucking pinball. Yeah. Because like you're gonna end up like that wall is right there, and it's gonna bounce you right back into traffic, and it's always a glaring warning. And usually people are pretty good about the front straight, but like that's another one that'll just reach out and bite you.
Yeah. Well, the 2 times we were in there, the drivers meeting at the Optima events this is a big boy track. It eats cars.
Respect it.
Our number one priority is that we load as many cars into trailers at the end of the day as we unload this morning. And we were lucky, which we also ran the baby version. We didn't do the kink.
You ran the bend?
Yeah. We ran the bend. Which,
I haven't ran it in person. I actually really like running the bend configuration. Like on iRacing and stuff too. Like I genuinely like that setup. It just adds a little bit of level of technicality that I think that the kink just adds a level of risk, in my opinion. And then the bend adds a level of technicality. And again, like I'm sure that's not a popular opinion, but I genuinely like the bend.
Yeah, kink rewards just nutting up and going for it with blatant disregard for your well-being and the well-being of your car.
Yeah.
And the cool thing about the bend is like you come barreling off of the carousel and you need to get all the way track right and get the car woed down to get that turn in.
That's a slow left turn, followed by a slow right turn.
And then, but even with how slow the entry is and the second turn of it is, I was still running 145 back there in the Camaro.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like you still get such a run down that straight because it kind of it gives you a long run up to then enter the kink. So you're still carrying a lot into Canada. It didn't take away from the spectacle of going through those trees back there.
No, definitely does not.
I'll start flipping through some of my pictures here and get.
Desault's wild car was there. Got first in.
Okay. Yeah. So unlimited class. Him and Eric Fleming were battling back and forth Friday and Saturday.
So fast.
Those cars. I caught afternoon session on Saturday. I ran into Ryan Seiler in the paddock, and then we ended up going over to the upper paddock to try to find somebody, and then we ran back into Dana Bazinski, and then we walked all the way to turn 3. So yet again, I'm 2.5 miles away from my car. But shooting into turn 3 because it's again downhill braking super fast, and it's overcast, and we're getting glowing rotors in the middle of the afternoon, especially on like the unlimited cars. Like Mike's car, the Alcon setup he's got on that car, it lights the rotors up like crazy. And then Eric's car was doing it too.
Yep.
So Eric reset the unlimited record on Friday, I guess.
I think that's right. Yeah, I know. He reset it, but I can't remember if it was Friday or not.
Yeah, and he just took a little bit more off of it from what it had been last year.
So
I think
204 something.
Yeah, 204 like 2, I think. And then the afternoon session on Saturday, Mike in the Camaro, the crazy tube frame Camaro, ended up like 0.2 of a second off of him, which they were super excited about because Mike's been coming up and just working on his driving, working on the tuning, getting that car to where he's trusting it to do what it
needs to do.
Trusting it to do what it's capable of doing, and getting his driving skills and frankly his nerve up to doing what that car is capable of. They were just off of Pikes Peak with it, and Robin Shute, who's been an overall winner a few times, drove it for Pikes Peak, and he's worked with Robin a lot on the tuning of it this year, and it's really paid off. It's been just going out and just turning laps, which is wild for
what it is.
What that car for everything that's going on in that car, it is so wild to just go out and watch it turn 5 laps in a session. It's just mind-boggling.
Yep.
And Eric was doing the same thing. Eric was turning a lot of laps too. And
I was gonna say he didn't run on. I don't think he ran at all on Sunday.
So yeah, they ended up. I think they ended up hurting a cylinder in it on Saturday, but so he wasn't able to make the podium sprint. He set the record. He reset the record for the weekend, and then Mike ended up winning the podium sprint.
Yep.
But those cars going down into turn 3 were just bottoming out the splitter and just hunkered down in the front. Oh man. So I was talking Will, that is one of Mike's crew guys, actually listens to the show. Yep. So every time I'm at the track that they're at it, I always have to go catch up with him. And he came up to me during the concert Saturday night, and I just looked at him and was like, "You guys were flying!" And he was so he just had a big old smile on his face. They were super pumped about it. So,
no, that's so awesome.
That was really cool to get to see. And then in track mod, I first became familiar with Alan Patton back at Super Lap Battle and that C7 that Lewis, who is building or is now maintaining and doing all the work on Eric Fleming's car, they also built the C7 for Alan Patton.
Yep.
That has a supercharged. It's a factory supercharger that's been worked over a little bit on some kind of not too crazy LS in it. And then Alan is an absolute lunatic behind the wheel.
Yep. Yep.
So Alan, one of the sessions got a little bit wide at the kink at 135 min speed and just put 3/4 of a turn of opposite lock in it.
Caught it.
The car stopped about 8 inches from the wall, and he just drove it right back on track and kept on going.
Yeah.
And I don't understand.
Pooh would have came out.
Yeah. I was talking to somebody and it was like, yeah, can you imagine the clinch? I was like, I don't think he has a clinch. I don't think he has a clinch reflex. There can't possibly be a clinch reflex in there. Otherwise, he would have wrecked that car.
He just put his foot back in it. And
yep.
I don't think he even came in. I think he just went on to the next lap.
Yeah. And then Sunday morning, on the exit of Canada Corner, he ran a little bit wide, and right at the end of the curbing, there's just a little bit of a rise, and I got a sequence of him. He goes out and puts 2 tires outside of the rumble strips, and then as he's bringing it back in, it just goes yump, and gets about 4 inches of air under the tires. And again, I don't think he ever lifted, or he probably blipped it just because he felt the tires come off the ground.
Yep.
Never even slowed down.
Wild. Absolutely wild.
So street mod, I think Dewey won, and I think maybe there was some controversy around somebody
calling it a street mod car.
wanting to maybe say that it's not the most streetable Subaru on the planet.
That would explain why he went and got ice cream with it and posted a picture of it. So good on him for doing that.
Well, the cool thing about Road America is you can get ice cream right there at the concession stand next to the paddock, so you don't have to go very far.
I don't think that's what he did. I'm fairly certain he drove all the way in.
Yep, that's pretty funny.
Yeah.
That car is always wild to watch.
It's so there's so much going on with that car.
And it makes so many fun noises, and off of corners the front tires are always digging and slip angle, and just it for a car that looks very composed at speed, whenever you get pictures of it, you see things that with it being all-wheel drive, I guess, I don't know, it always looks cool.
It really does.
And then just the fact that he's loud and trash talking, and like the car's got a character from a Disney movie on the side of it. Like that's what Time Attack is. Like that, we need more people that are stirring stuff up.
That are so like into all of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Walking by his paddock, and he's got the rally stands. The car's 3 feet off the ground with these bright pink rally stands underneath it, and they're blasting music, and there's a pirate flag flying, and just, man, this is
it's a vibe. It's
a whole thing. Yep. What else was there? So the shows. So Friday night we go over. So I have a problem with going to an EDM show when the sun's still out.
Yeah, you can't do that. It's not how it works.
Like we're sitting there in our little corner of the paddock, and we can hear the bass, but it's still bright outside, and that's just weird. So we got over for like an hour of Flosstradamus and then an hour of Disco Lines on Saturday night. But so pull up the group message on Friday night when Flosstradamus is on, and Jabay sends us a picture from backstage, and I send him a picture from front stage, like
looking right at each other.
Yeah. And then he says, "You want to come backstage?" He's like, "Come meet me stage left." I'm like, "Okay, I have a confession to make. I don't know what stage left means." Is that your left or my left? He says, your left. So I go over and meet him at the VIP entrance, and then he proceeds to just take me all the way backstage.
He did that to us in 2016, and look what's happened since.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like we barely missed. I don't miss a Grid Life, at least a couple times a year.
So that was super wild. I ran into, I don't remember if it was Will or who I ran into after getting back out into the main part, and I said something about it, and they're like, "I thought that was you," because he forced me to step out in front of the video board and take a couple pictures.
Shots. Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, you had your media vest. I mean, like, you looked all official. You could have just gone wherever you wanted.
Well, so the funny thing about the music media wise is a whole separate deal.
Yep.
So like I was able to get, just with my wristband, I was able to get into the VIP, and then all drivers and crew were able to use their hard card or wristband to get into the VIP section too. So that was cool to be able to get up close without having to make my way through the mob on the other side of that fence. But it also cool to kind of be in that mob a little bit at various points. But so yeah, the Disco Line Saturday night was more like kind of the I know nothing about EDM, so I'm going to sound like a real dummy here, but it was more of the like deadmau5 kind of just more song type stuff than just noise robot smash music like what like Sullivan King.
Hey, I like that.
Like I really enjoyed the stuff at Midwest with like Subtronics and all of that, but I'm also like old and I'm like, I listened to your albums and I wanted to hear some of the things that were on the albums, and you just have a whole new mix of stuff.
Yep.
Which is cool. I like it's a complete like sensory overload experience, and it was awesome, and the bass punches you in the face and the strobe is really bright and all that stuff. Yeah, it was cool. The Disco Lines was more of my speed with it was more like kind of club music style songs, and the lights and the lasers and everything all like worked into it really well. The lasers on Thursday night, whenever they were getting everything set up, were just shining across the sky. And there was clouds like at least a mile to the east of the track. And it looked like the lasers were coming out of those clouds and coming across the track from the opposite direction. It was so wild.
That's cool.
I was standing there all hopped up on cold medicine and just, it's like dead quiet. And where our paddock was basically pitch black dark. I was looking up at those lasers going, I am tripping out, man.
Yeah, you just turned them out like, the colors, man.
Yeah, man. Do you see the sounds, man? Whoa. So yeah, both nights of the shows were super cool. And then because there's a neighborhood like kind of sort of close to that side of the track, they had a 10 o'clock curfew on the big stage.
Yep.
So that leads to what does everybody do afterwards? Well, there's a spot over by Canada Corner that they call Laserwoods.
Okay. Is that new? Or is that just a thing that I'm not aware of?
I think they did it. I think they did it last year too.
Okay.
I think maybe last year it wasn't as publicized.
I'm not aware of this.
Yeah. So it's just there's a little clearing on the inside of, I think it's on the inside of Canada Corner.
Yep.
We had a real hard time finding it. We drove around. We drove around with 6 people on a golf cart for a rather extended amount of time before we finally found the right road to get there. But so it's just this little opening in the woods right off of one of the paths. That's just like a golf cart like path.
Okay.
And there's lights suspended up in the trees, and then there's like 8 or 12 stations all around it that have lasers, and they're firing the lasers across each other and into the trees. And then it's just,
is there music going?
So yeah. So, Friday night was, Flosstradamus and, Chris Stewart's son, who is 13 years old, for like an hour and a half, just trading back and forth for like a DJ set.
That's wild.
And there's 1,000 people up there. Like it was so packed. It was crazy. There was golf carts everywhere, parked all like anywhere that you could stash a golf cart within 200 feet. There was a golf cart, and it's just packed with people and just jamming and crazy laser show.
Oh, that'd be cool.
So there's the picture that has the red and white lasers. That's that setup.
Okay. Interesting.
It was so cool. So that went on until I think like 30 or something like that. I didn't.
Sure.
We checked it out and then we checked out, but
I get that. When you wake up at 5 a.m. with the sun, it's kind of hard to stay up too late.
yeah. So, so that was just like the little like cherry on top of each day. It was just going up there and just hanging out and seeing this. It's so. I had the same thing that I had at Midwest, just over and over again. I cannot believe that this is a motorsports event that this is happening at.
Yep.
And there was at one point I looked over next to me on Friday night, and Chris was just standing there, and like we're back away from it a little bit, and he's just kind of standing there with his arms crossed. And I feel like he's just looking at it, and he's probably just analyzing what all's going on and what could be different or what could be better.
Yep.
But also, it kind of looked like he was just like, "Shit, this is cool."
Like taking a step back and appreciating.
Just kind of like
how great it is.
Kind of like, damn, like we kind of pull some stuff off here, you know?
Yep. Gotta appreciate it when it's going well, man.
Yeah, and it was everything like it just the track itself is just so picturesque and so cool to shoot, and then everything going on around it, and just cool groups of people that are just there to have a good time, and everybody's just chill. There's like leaving the concerts both Friday and Saturday night. It's just this throng of people going back up that main road. And so like Friday night, we're packed onto this golf cart. And as we're leaving, there's a 240 drift car that's behind us. And one of the other guys, Evan, has got his phone out, and his 240's right behind us. And there's like dust getting kicked up from the ground from the golf cart, and this 240's got the like the JDM lights, so they're kind of yellow, and the crazy drift car kit with the big angle at the bottom of it, and he leans down with his phone and he's getting rollers of this car while we're and they looked awesome.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I bet they turned out really well.
It's lined with people on both sides, and this car's just got this yellow aura around it from the dust and the headlights. It's like yet another thing. It's like, it feels like a video game. It feels like
it just doesn't feel real.
It feels like something from a movie.
It can't just all fall into place like this, man.
Yeah. And it was just one of those that just the whole weekend, everything just fit. And like I had my little plan for my things that I wanted to do, and I got my shots. Like rolling into Sunday morning, it was like, okay, I need the last thing I had on my list was the full GLTC field coming into turn one, because that is just that's
a great shot.
Getting them coming down into 5 was cool. I did that on Saturday, but like I want that race start. And then I happened to be there for the race that Emil Tab had the pole and an NV Miata, and he was running from a bunch of Corvettes and S2000s, and it was amazing.
I really appreciate the picture you posted in the GLTC group with the 7/8 scale or whatever.
So yeah, so a few years ago, I got a screen grab from the stream, I think at Watkins Glen, with him, and his old car was an NA, so it was even a little bit smaller looking, and he was next to like a BMW and something else, and I just clipped out around him and just made it just like 10% smaller and shared it in the GLTC group on Facebook, and people I don't think realized that it was photoshopped.
That's the best part.
There's just it was like, it's like the whenever BMW was running the M8 and GT3, and there was all the big M8 memes going around. It was just kind of the opposite on that, and just making it like you can keep it fairly subtle, and it's one of those where you have to double take at it. So I got a shot of them, like he's turned into turn one, and there was just a little bit of a gap between him and the rest of the cars, and it just squeeze it down just a little bit and clone the background around him. Just casually drop it in there with the caption, "Run, Miat, run."
Oh my god!
And it's going to get the most engagement of anything that we have from this by far. And there's
by like tenfold. Yep.
Well, what's 10 times 0? Because that's what we're working on so far.
Yeah, you'll get these awesome shots, and you'll get the album all put together, and you'll share it, and then like it'll take like 4 days before it comes across like anyone's feed, and even then it's just we didn't pay for it, so no one's gonna see it. It's so frustrating. Social media is so fucking stupid.
Yeah, which the cool thing, the track battle group and the GLTC group on Facebook are super active. So
that helps
I always go and share them in there, and people jump in there and they tag their friends and stuff, and that's super cool. That makes it all worth it. Aside from just the general personal satisfaction of just looking at the shit and being like, okay, this doesn't suck.
And it does not suck.
But yeah, it just 3 days of getting to go and play Silly Photographer again. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I'm glad you got to go. Definitely argued with myself leading up to it whether or not I was going to go or not. I knew right away I wasn't driving, but I definitely still wanted to be there.
Yeah, I feel like that is going, and so I know from talking to Adam, I ended up going over at like 1:30 in the morning on Saturday evening, Sunday morning. Him and Ryan were over hanging out with Tommy, and I went over there and talked to them for a little while. And Adam said that the Road America people were just super pumped at how it went all over again. I think they're figuring out more places to stash camping, more ways to grow it.
Yep.
Road America loves it because they've had like this kind of built-in group of people that just comes to all their events. Like they sell season passes where you just get a weekend ticket for everything that happens there, all the big events.
Yep.
And they have kind of just the same people that turn out every weekend. And I think they look around at this and they say, one, ooh, everyone here doesn't have white hair. Like that
helps. That's good.
That's a big plus for a motorsports event, because motorsports in general has a very old audience, and that's the magic that everybody sees, is the fact that it's a young audience. Oh. It's I bet the average age was probably like late 20s of people that were there camping for the weekend and just spectating and stuff. So and they see opportunity. They're getting new people in here and getting them familiar with the track and everything. So it sounds like they're still super stoked for how everything goes with it, and I think it's just going to keep getting bigger. I could see that being like the premier Grid Life event.
I'd be more surprised if it wasn't, honestly. I think when you have a venue that wants you there and people want to be there, and the event is going well, and the event's cool, and like what they're doing is great, it just works. So when you're not fighting with the venue on petty shit, or like they're not trying to gouge Grid Life and make it difficult for them or too costly to be there, then it makes things so much easier. So like when you can have a sweetheart deal where you can go like, okay, we want you here, we want to be here, it makes things super easy. So I'm hoping that relationship can blossom and continue to grow, so that Grid Life continues to have success. Like if you're going to events and you're fighting the whole way through, you're not going to come back to that track. Why would you? Who cares? Like if it made money once, like if it sucks for everybody and no one's happy about it, you're not going to go back. So, which sucks for me, because I'm pretty sure that's how Moto Ohio went. I'm like, there was a lot of complaining about how it was ran, especially with the no spectator event. If it goes like that again, like why would they ever fucking go back?
Yeah. So on that subject, this weekend at Road America is sports car weekend with IMSA.
Yeah.
Like there was IMSA rigs rolling in and staging while we were there.
Yes, I think that happened last year.
Yeah, like, in which part of it is Road America has about 14 weeks a year where the weather's decent enough to do something there, so they have something going on every one of those weekends. So.
Yep. Yeah, I've heard about it. Obviously we know Jabay pretty well, and it just like nothing makes sense as to why Mid Ohio would have been that way. Like the no spectator event, like it just logic just doesn't line up there at all. Obviously not a Grid Life choice. So
I still question whether it was an IndyCar mandate.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's weird,
and that's hilarious that IndyCar is going to try to dictate who has spectators whenever they have no spectators.
Right. Yeah, did you watch the Iowa races? Oh my God.
Yeah, I think Mid-O draws pretty well for them, but
it should. But yeah, I mean
that's a whole other discussion.
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, so I hope Grid Life keeps going back to Mid Ohio, but that's because I'm selfish.
Yeah, what's a cool?
It's a great track.
I feel like it makes for good racing too. So
yeah, I'm excited to go back just for a time attack day with SCCA here in a couple weeks. So
a couple of other things from the pictures that I sent you. One, there was a little car show motoring meet set up that was presented by FCP or somebody, but there was a AMC Pacer with a GM Ecotec motor in it.
Oh, for real?
Yes.
Huh. Of all the weird swaps in the world.
Oh yeah, I walked up to it with the hood open, and the thing that makes it even better is this thing was originally yellow, and it had been painted. I guess it looks like it was a car for like a city or something, because it has has a town name like faded stenciled on the bottom of the door. But it's like red and white two-tone. But this car was originally yellow because the door jambs, the inside of the hood, everything else was yellow on it.
Yep. And that paint job would have happened before we were born.
Yeah, like probably when the car was new in like '76 or something like that.
Yep.
But and then the other thing that I didn't get a picture of in there was a Prius with a Cummins 4BT diesel engine in it. And the guys were sitting around it. It was on the corner, like pointed at the main road going through the paddock. The guys are sitting there with beers in their hands, and they've got a cardboard box that has a WTF count on it. Because anybody that walked up and said, "What the," they had to go and put a count on the box. And like while I was standing there, somebody walked up and they're like, "You got to sign the box." Like these guys get it.
Yep. And I assume that every time someone said that, they all took a drink.
Well, clearly, yeah. So, yeah, just like Midwest Festival, there was tons of cool cars out in the camping and stuff, and just like, and then Road America Wisconsin license plates, like the one that Adam got a ticket in the mail for.
Yep, everywhere.
Tons of those, and they all have something cool on them. They all have some reference to the track or some reference to what the car is. They're doing it well up there.
Yes.
So, oh man, there was an Audi S5 that had an LS3 in it in the car show.
It just fits so nice in there.
It just looks right at home, and it really solves most of the issues, I would assume.
Yeah, I would imagine.
Yeah, there was a Tesla Model S running in track mod.
So I'm sure it was super fast in the straights.
Yeah, because I'm guessing it was a plaid. It has a regular steering wheel in it, but I'm guessing it was a plaid. And it was a matte black livery with like blue and yellow stripes, and it had the little marker dots for 3D scanning all over it.
Oh, weird.
Yeah. So I walked up to it in the paddock on like Thursday night, and there was a light, like one of the paddock lights behind me that was shining, and it shined at just the right angle, and the whole car lit up in dots. I was like, I know what those are. I've used those.
Interesting.
Oh, I never talked about camping in the Ford Escape.
No, you didn't.
So
It was awesome.
I've been to the track. I'm at the track. I've been roaming around, checking things out and everything. Decide, well, scope out what my situation is in the back seat.
Plenty of room, right?
I flip one of the seats down and I look in the back, and it's the floor in the very back is flat. And the bottom of the seat, whenever it's folded down, is about 5 inches above that level. You assholes.
And not flat.
And it's angled up.
Yep. Because we talk like, so when we take the dogs, now that we have 3, we tried to do that thinking, oh, we'll just flip the seats down, flat in the back, plenty of room for 3 dogs. No, because it sits at a stupid angle and it's not usable, and then it's actually worse. So we'll actually flip one down, that's like the small side down, because they're not even. You don't flip it in the middle. Yeah. It's like 2/3 and a third. Mm-hmm. So you flip the third one down. So then you can have a dog bed in the back, and then you have seats for the other dogs. So that works for us. I assume that didn't work for your sleeping.
Well, so I found on my Amazon camping prep spree, I found it's like a sleep pad to go in like a tent. And it folds up. It's super compact whenever it's folded up. And then it has a built-in thing that's like a foot pump in the end of it. So you can pump this up with no power in like 2 minutes. And it's actually pretty, like, you can get it pretty tight, and it actually works pretty well. So I figured out a combination where so those seats do slide forward a little bit.
Oh, okay.
So I like rock the passenger seat all the way forward, and then slide the passenger rear seat as far forward as it will go. And it got it to where it was enough of a rise that it was like sleeping on an inclined bed, more so than a thing with a giant ledge in the middle of it. So, so it wasn't ideal, but whenever you've been awake for 18 hours and you've walked 10.8 miles in a day on Friday night, you don't really care that much.
You can find a way to fall asleep.
And the great thing about the Ford Escape is the air conditioner actually worked really well, because it was hot as balls. And like, I just took a break in the middle of the day, like multiple times, and just went back in there and just sat in the AC just to chill out, decompress for a little bit. But
that, and it's not Texas heat, it's Wisconsin humidity.
Yeah. So the hot, so Friday morning I take off and I'm walking, and I'm like 10 minutes in, and I am soaked through every stitch of clothing I've got on my body. I pulled out my phone. 77 feels like 79. I'm like, that's crap. Yeah. That is an absolute lie. I don't understand.
200% humidity.
Yeah. I don't understand the dew point. I'm not going to try to understand the dew point, but whatever the dew point was, it was me. I was the dew point. There was dew forming on me. One of the mornings it looked like it had straight up rained, and that was just what had happened overnight.
Yeah, it's morning. That's morning.
Yeah. Man, so aside from this humidity and then the snow, like 6 months out of the year, I have no problems with this place. But it was totally worth it. It was absolutely the coolest weekend. Just, man, it was one of those that I got done with Midwest, and it was just the whole overall experience of, hanging out with the buddies and the music and shooting the race cars and everything else. It was just like, man, I got to figure out a way to do this every year. And they're like, no, this for real. I could go shoot that track week in and week out and never run out of things to do. I covered pretty well all of it, but there's still there's so much. There's a whole trail down that back straight running down to Canada Corner that I didn't get down. And there's little pockets of places that I would love to go and get. So yeah,
it's kind of like,
I guess it's kind of like fishing. There's always another one to catch somewhere. So, but
Yep. Well, I think between you and then Matt Beck scumbagging me, I might not ever miss another event ever again. So,
did you get your Audubon ticket yet?
no, I'm going to do the Well, it's not sold out yet, so that helps. But yeah, so it's I got my Mid Ohio event here on the 8th, and then probably the idea then would be to get a ticket after that.
Yeah.
So I think there's tickets available plus not sold out, so should be fine.
So he sent me on yesterday, Monday. He sent me a screen grab of because somebody had a GLTC ticket for sale. He just sent that to me, and I didn't see the comment on it, and I was just like, "Oh, should I just go ahead and cage the Z in the next month? Like, what are you trying to do?" And he said, "No, zoom in." And I said, and then he had mentioned you in the comment. I said, "Oh, okay." And he said, "But yes, also you should cage the Z and come GLTC race."
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. Yeah, because it was Michael Hilo that's selling his ticket, so I think he's finally throwing in the towel for trying to race halfway across the country, and I don't blame him because that would be old real fast.
Yeah, well, and then so his buddy that was out with him in the V6 Civic also lost an engine during the weekend too. So I can't remember what his real name is. His name on Instagram is Ginger Drifts, but I talked to them for a little while too. That was he. He said, "How have you been?" I said, "Busy, but not as busy as you've been."
Yep.
At one point, he was like, "I know how to build cars. I build good cars. This is not what happens when I build a car." And I cannot imagine how just absolutely beaten he's been.
I saw you posted on Instagram today. It was just like that screenshot of like the drive home from today. And I think it was either today or yesterday. It was like 1 day, 5 hours. And it's just like, oh my God. So like he gets to just trek all the way home with his tail between his legs after an awful weekend. Yeah, so it's just, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I would after two events like that, for sure. I would have like just cut your losses. There's next year, man. It's not worth it to keep thrashing when you're not getting the results. Just take that step back.
In which we were always with our stuff. We were very conservative on what. Well, we still are. It's taking us the amount of time it is to build the car back, but as far as just testing everything and thrashing on the car and everything else before going to an event like that. And I greatly admire the courage to just
send it.
We're just going to swap this thing and we're going to figure it out as we go. And I much like whenever you've been going to events the last 2 years and not having things go your way. Yep. It's like I have been willing that car to be good for him, and it's not been working.
Nope. Yep. Sitting here wishing for him isn't the best option. Like you gotta take a break.
But also, damn, that car looks good on track.
It does. It's so good. It's so good. I want it to be good.
Yeah, I need some chrome TEs in my life. I think that's what I've decided that I'm missing.
Yep, you can get that when you get your cage too.
Yeah, yep. They actually won't send them to me until I show proof of a roll cage, probably. But
that's fair. That's probably fair on their part. Yeah. You got to earn that.
Yeah. Yep. It was
totally worth it.
Quite a weekend. It was one of those that getting into it, not feeling very good, and then not being sure about, who am I going to hang out with? Who's going to be there? All those middle school social anxiety issues. And then by Friday evening, when we're sitting at Siebkins at this table of people that, I've crossed paths with Matt several times and I've never met any of the rest of them before. And we're just sitting there swapping dumb car stories and just talking about our, they've all got they've all got kids. They're all it's like the same group of people that I have here that we built around us autocrossing together, and then now all of our families are just families together. They have that exact same thing. They're just in Austin.
Yep.
It's pretty cool how universal this dumb hobby of ours is. So
We're all sick, man.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Join the club.
Yep. But yeah, I just counting down the time till I get to go do it again, I guess.
I was gonna say, what's the next event for you?
So I'm taking the Z out in like August 16th, going back to run the full course at Eagles Canyon. Nice. So gotta figure out if I'm gonna order some wheels before then or keep scumbagging the old ones that are from the truck. But
yeah. Use them up.
We have another set of the yokes that are the same, like have basically the same amount of time on them that I'm gonna get mounted if I get some Koenigs. But
nice.
But yep, get back on track again, and then find some places to shoot some pictures again along the way.
Yeah, like Autobahn.
I don't know about that. Not that it doesn't look like a cool track, but also I know how hot it was in Chicago.
It'll be further in the year. It'll be way cooler.
Yeah, it's always better in August than it is in July.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I got off the plane in Chicago and was like, someone lied to me about what happens when you go north, I guess.
Yeah, no. I mean, the temperature might not be as high, but yeah, it feels gross.
Yeah, so they had excessive heat warnings and it was like 93.
Yep. Yeah, we had those like at the low 90s this week too. It was like heat advisory. I'm like, come on, guys. This doesn't feel right. Sub 100 heat advisory feels weird to me.
Yeah. So last leg of the trip, and then I think that'll be my Road America experience. Leave the track at noon, catch some traffic along the way, get to the airport like 2:30, get my rental car turned in, get all checked in, get to the gate, looking out the window. I'm like, man, there's just some weird looking clouds over there. And I think I texted in the group, I'm not sure about these clouds. I don't know if I like these clouds. So our plane's supposed to board at like 5:05 or something like that.
That's a pretty short flight, isn't it?
Yeah, it's 2 hours.
Okay, that's not bad.
Yep. In ideal conditions.
Yes, of course.
It's 2 hours. So it turns out that those clouds had enough storms in them that it caused this cascading series of flight delays from an hour and a half before my plane was supposed to take off. Probably 2 hours, actually. But because it's O'Hare and there's 500 planes an hour coming out of this airport or whatever it is, there's a screen grab in there of flight radar of the traffic jam of airplanes on the taxiway. I counted, we were like the 26th plane in line to take off.
Oh my God.
We pulled out of the gate and we got around to this taxiway and we stopped and we did not move for half an hour. And then finally we move a little bit and then the pilot comes on and he's like, well, we've got, some of the storms earlier caused some delay. They're going to put us on a different route to Dallas where we can take off from a different runway. And that should cut the wait time like in half. And I'm like, whoa, like from 2 hours down to 1 hour? Like what? Like what's half?
What do you mean? Half could mean anything.
Yeah. And then that airport has runways going every which direction. And so we're sitting here on a taxiway, and I'm looking over at a 747 cargo plane. And then, like, there's a plane taking off going to my left. And then I look out a little bit later, and there's a plane taking off going to my right. And we haven't moved. This isn't how airplanes work. I don't understand what's going on. So we finally got off the ground at like just shy of 7 o'clock, I think. And if you know anything about airplanes, whenever they're sitting on a runway when it's 90 degrees outside, they don't like get cooler on the inside.
Yeah, they don't crank the AC up.
No, the AC is kind of based on the fact that the air temperature outside is like negative 30. That's kind of how the air conditioning works in them, I think. So ended up if I drove from here to Road America, it would be 15 and a half hours. So I left the racetrack at noon and I pulled up to my house at 10:15. So I cut 4 hours and 45 minutes off the travel time.
So you're still 4 hours ahead.
But also after getting like 4 hours of sleep a night in the back of a Ford Escape for 4 days,
That would have been an awful
driving
drive.
15 hours would not have been the best plan.
No, that would have been bad.
I like dozed off on the plane while we were on the taxiway and like raised my head up and felt drunk. Like,
Oh,
it's like, so it was still a good plan.
yeah.
To
No,
go out that
I
day.
definitely would have actively tried to sleep on that plane.
Yeah. It was like, once I realized what was going on, then I was just like, oh, okay, when are we getting home? And I was no longer able to just doze off. So,
Yeah.
but
Can never be
so
easy.
it goes.
Yeah. I think that's a show. It's getting late.
I think that is a show.
I'm getting tired. Well, I appreciate you going to Road America for the content, flying into Chicago and out of Chicago for the content. And
Whenever I got to the track and I told Jimmy I flew through Chicago, he said, "Did you see any culture?" And I was like, "Oh, well, the terminal next to mine had all the windows boarded up, so that
yeah.
kind of seems like culture." And he's like, "Yeah, that counts."
Yeah. Well, next time you'll fly. Next year we'll plan this ahead, and you'll fly into Columbus, and then we'll just go together. It'll be great.
I think the next time I do, I just need to bring a damn car. I need to nut up and
There
just
you go.
bring a car.
Just caravan up with Matt Beck.
Yeah. Bring a car or just continue shooting photos because it was an awesome weekend and I didn't get kicked in the dick by anything the time. So
You can only do so many photo weekends before you gotta get back in the car.
yep. We'll keep positive momentum going by going to Eagles Canyon and not rage quitting and leaving halfway through the day. That'll be the next step in the puzzle. So
Love it. All right. Well, good luck with that, and we'll catch everyone next week.